This is your host, Scotty B. Friends, I'm super excited today. I'm so excited that I don't even remember what I wrote down on the script because I have a returning guest today for you, and we are very, very pleased, very, very excited to have one of our Boomerang guests back on the show today. Sam Syndulla is here, and we have a lot of things to talk about. I appreciate everybody who sent their questions in for this very special Q&A edition of Heroes of Cosplay. It's basically an Ask Sam Anything episode. We are going to cover some other things today, but we do have a few questions to ask towards the end of the show. So, you know, the usual YouTube hook, stay to the end, watch the whole show, because we're going to get all of the questions answered. Everything that you guys sent through will be towards the end. So without further ado, Sam, hello.
What's up?
Yeah, so I feel like I am more organized this season with everything, but for whatever reason, today is just not a very organized day. The show has been focusing on a lot of mental issues. I guess maybe the impact of cosplay. I think I started there many years ago, talking about kind of the mental focus, the things that get into your head with cosplay, and like why people do it, and what we seek when we become cosplayers, when we get into a digital space, and when we put on our cosplays, and what we expect from the online community, because a lot of it is it's validity, it's things that we want to share with the world. So we're looking for a lot of external validation, and that is something that I've been talking about and around this season, along with using, you know, like soapbox sort of things, and just a lot of the like deep issues. We're going to do, I'm going to have Anthony back on the show. We're going to talk about the dark side of cosplay. There's just a lot of things there's just a lot of stuff, like even just like going through my stories with some of the people that I know, and even the local folks here, just all sorts of like weird things just keep happening. I mean, no wonder I called the season strange, something strange, because there's just a lot of just still, even with things kind of returning to normal, it seems like the normal inside of cosplay is there's a lot of drama. There's
absolutely.
There's just a ton of drama inside of the community. But my spin on that for this first segment, before we get into the fun stuff, is the validity that we seek with doing this. And a lot of people, it's not necessarily to connect with the character anymore, it's to draw more people in to a platform and kind of rack up a high score with people that you can collect on a platform. Like, it's here's my Instagram, I have this many followers and I need this many more, so get me to this next number, and this is how we're going to do it. And if I don't get enough likes, if I don't get enough saves, if I don't get enough, that I'm not worth something because of the way that I'm portraying myself. And like, I think I'm doing okay, but nobody else seems to. And then we blame the algorithm because of course we blame the robots for not letting us show up, and then we have to pay for it. So this is it kind of puts you in a feedback loop, I feel.
Yeah, absolutely. I like, for someone like me that hasn't grown in 3 years, like I kind of can't relate to that, like as far as like collecting people to move forward. But I see it all the time. It's just like, it's a common thing now, especially with bigger accounts. Like, bigger accounts want other big accounts so they could share their stuff and they could grow even bigger. But I don't know, cosplay for me is still different than what it is becoming for other people at this point. It's just, for me, it's still an outlet. It's still a way for me to connect with the kids. I personally, the only thing I would say that I'm doing differently now, and it's only because I have grown to this point, is, and this is literally only a personal journey for myself, like it has nothing to do with like self-promotion or anything. It's getting to know the characters and the people that I'm cosplaying if I'm able to do something like that. Like, obviously you've seen, like, I have a nice relationship with Vanessa Marshall. Like, we've actually become legitimate friends with each other.
We talked about that a little bit before the
you know.
show. Mm-hmm.
So for me, it's like, and that was a dream come true for me. And like now this woman is my friend, and like we text. You know what I mean? Like it's a weird world that we're in. And also like Trish Stratus likes
Trish
and shares some
Stratus.
stuff. Like, and honestly, you have to tell this story because you're the one that actually put us in contact with each other. What was that? A year or 2 years ago?
It was, I think it was 2022. It was the
Mm-hmm.
last time I went to C2E2 because I skipped a year.
Yep.
I didn't go this year, but I don't want to take too much away from this because it was just kind of a very random thing that happened. But I felt pretty good about it, and
Great.
so did Trish. Surprisingly, if for anybody who doesn't know, Trish Stratus is a professional wrestler. She started back in the naughty aughties or thereabout, and she more or less she led the women's division. Like it was a pioneer for women's wrestling. She kind of put it on the map, so to speak. She put
Thank
divas
you.
on the map, and that's a really big deal. She was at C2E2 a couple of, well, yeah, 2022. She was there with Mick Foley, and she was there with Lita,
Amazing.
with Amy Dumas, and they're pretty good friends. They were on their bestie campaign that time around. They were both wearing bestie shirts while they
I
were
love.
doing Q&As. And I wanted to get both their signatures. I haven't put it on my wall yet, but I do have both their signatures on one glossy that I had them sign. But I wanted to first talk to Lita about a few different things in a match that she had with Becky Lynch, one of my favorite well, she's not that new, but newer wrestlers. Becky's amazing. She does such a great job. She sells so well in the ring. And
Yeah.
I was talking through this with Lita, and I said basically, like, I stopped watching wrestling in 2008. I just stopped. And I didn't watch it again until 2022 when I went
Wow.
back to see them and knew that they were going to be at the convention. And I told her, like, I watched a match between her and Becky Lynch, and the women's division had basically eclipsed what the guys were doing. Like,
Yep.
I watched the whole pay-per-view, and I'm like, wow, the women's matches are actually better orchestrated,
Great.
and they have better pacing, and it's just like more storytelling than what some of the guys are doing. And I'm like,
Yeah.
this is amazing, because before it was kind of like it just wasn't getting there. They had a different
Mm-hmm.
role inside of the organization. So I told her that, and then I went over into Trish's line. And I was like, I don't really have like a story to tell Trish. Like, I don't have anything fun or interesting, but I do know that Sam kind of cosplays her, and she kind of looks like her. So I came up with this idea while I was waiting in line. I was like maybe I don't know, 20th person back or something. So I had enough time to kind of like formulate this plot that I would like ask Trish Stratus if she would send a message to Sam. And I went up to the table, and I was like, she was just like, hey, how you doing? And I said, instead of like doing like a thing, like doing a photo op or whatever, would you be okay taking my phone and sending a message to this person? Like, what do you think about this cosplay that she has? And she just looks at it and she goes, damn, girl. she's, she's all into it. She's got her glasses down. She's like looking. She's like, okay, so like what button do I push? And she sends Sam a message and just kind of like reaches out, and then my phone blows up, and it was great. It was a fun moment. But what that led to, I think, was the really great part. I'll let you tell that half or that
Yeah.
side of what happened after we got you two introduced.
So after that, I think I said, should I post a Trish photo and tag her? And I did. And she commented, and that's really how that cemented, like, okay, that's cool. And then this year, I pretty much recreated her speech to Becky Lynch. And she started following me and sharing all my stuff. And now we like follow each other. And I get to meet her in a few weeks at, I think it's the big event, New York, which I'm really excited about. And she knows that I'm coming. She asked me. So that's kind of cool.
Yes, Trish she's such a good worker, and she's so down to earth.
So
And
down to earth.
it's so great. Like, you two are basically two peas in a pod.
I love that. I love
Super
hearing.
super humble, really nice, easy to approach, and you really do like the things that you do, like the events that you go to, people that you reach out to. It's very genuine.
Yeah,
So,
I
and
appreciate it.
yeah, so I'm glad that you two are friends now.
Yeah, and I feel like that's the only thing that I would say I would say as far as like popularity and stuff, it would just be me reaching the people that I cosplay these characters. Of course, there's like certain celebrities that you're not they're out of reach. They don't have
Hmm.
Instagram, but the ones that do and the ones that are down to earth and the ones that want to be engaged with their fans, that's kind of like a goal for me too, is just to like say thank you for giving me this cosplay to do and just putting so much heart into this character because like we love Trish, but like she does play a character on WWE too, and
Hmm.
that's not the same woman that's taking care of her kids at home either. You know what I mean? So like, thank you for that. Thank you, Trish.
Yeah,
you
but
know?
she can certainly do a cage match pretty well still.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah.
kids
She's
are not.
killing it.
She's 47. That is impossible to believe that she just had her first cage match, but it was really good.
Really good. Like it was so good. It was such
Good.
a good match. And she's in such amazing physical shape. Like she's just, I mean, she's Trish Stratus, man. Like that's pretty much that's
Yeah, I
it.
mean, coming like I feel like this was a career renaissance for her. That she's coming back, just like when Sting came back, or when some of the other wrestlers have come
Yep.
back. Like they come back later, and you're like, wow,
Yeah.
they're as good or better than they were 20 years ago or 15
Yep.
years ago, and it's amazing to watch. And they're still the same person, super nice. They haven't like gotten all of the things that have happened.
Yeah.
Um, they haven't changed. Like the Rock is still kind of the same guy.
Yeah, he is.
Regardless of being like the highest paid actor, like period, right now.
I mean,
um,
honestly, he's definitely someone I would want to meet too. Like he just seems like super cool. Like there are certain celebrities that you want to meet and you're just like, that person seems so cool.
definitely does. And the this season has strangely kind of veered into like wrestling. I feel kind of bad about that because it's not a wrestling
I
show. It's
know.
supposed to be about cosplay, but I think there's just more there's more to do there. Especially with the girls coming through in AEW and WWE, that they're like actually more cosplayable now
Yeah, and they
because
have
they're more
great
well known.
costumes. They also do their costumes also mirror a lot of comic book costumes, a lot of all different type of things. Like was it Alexa Bliss who kind of had the Harley Quinn thing going on, and
Yeah.
then what's the other girl's name too? She also does like a Harley Quinn type of thing
Liv
too.
Liv Tyler, or
Liv.
not Liv Tyler, Liv Liv Morgan. Jeez,
Liv
what
Morgan.
planet
Yeah,
am I
she
on?
also very Harley Quinnish, like very cool stuff. You know what I mean? Like I look at that stuff and I'm like, kind of want to do
I forget
it.
who it was I saw came out. I think it was at one of the last Royal Rumble. She came out with a big M. I think it was Ronda Rousey came out with an
Oh,
M on her forehead, and I don't know if anyone got that. I'm like, she's like Dragon Ball Zing this.
wow. Okay.
um, but I was like, I'm actually kind of impressed with some of the costumes and cosplays that people do
Yeah,
now.
I love it.
Like Seth Rollins and his ridiculous outfits, and even the vignettes that they do. Like he did like a Joker kind of vignette, which was cute. They
I love
do
that.
things. Um, but yeah, that it's really that cosplay has kind of become more acceptable, more widely
Mhm.
circulated, more known. And people are like starting to figure this out, that there's a bunch of influencers out there that do this and can really help promote brands and
Yeah.
bring people together. And it's kind of a nice commingling, especially in a space that's a little bit more down to earth like wrestling, because they really like a lot of the wrestlers are like they're like normal people except that they
Yeah.
like to like fake beat each other up. But
I
it's
mean,
it's healthy, right? I do. Mhm.
no, I was gonna say, like when I was 8 years old, I really thought I was gonna grow up and be a wrestler. It just didn't happen. I thought that's where my life path was going. Fake beating people up it's pretty cool.
I would happen to I would agree. I used to do it too. Somewhere between 8 and 10. Like
Yep.
my friends would come over and we'd like pretend the living room was a wrestling ring. It was
Yeah. Just
probably
try
like
not to. break furniture, you
Yeah,
know.
just don't like hit your shins on the coffee table because that. But I didn't know all the things I know now about like actually like hitting people. That took time. I did end up like the whole. I do joke about this a little bit, Sam. That like the thing that I really wanted to do with my life was like teach people how to beat each other up. Like that's kind of
Yeah,
what
I
like
mean,
when you want to be a martial arts instructor and that's like your life
yeah,
passion goal. Like basically, yeah, like I want to take like a 12-year-old and tell him how to kick this other 12-year-old in the head. Like that doesn't sound right, but that's what I wanted to do. So yeah, I always thought it was cool and just like learning a little bit more about how all of that works and like how not to hurt yourself and how they
yeah,
actually do all that like placing. It's kind of
crazy.
why I watch it now, is to just see how they work their matches and stuff and how they
Yep.
flip around. And they do so much more now than they used to. They're just
Plus,
better.
they are getting hit with chairs. Like, you do have to get hit with a chair. You know what I mean? Like, you're signing up to do these type of things. I
Yes, and
mean,
some of it does actually hurt, and they do make mistakes, and it's like
yeah.
when I just cringe when I see it happen. I'm just like, ooh,
Ooh,
ouch.
yeah.
I mean,
You know,
Trish and her like with her forehead because she took so many bad shots in that cage match. I'm like, oh,
the
that's
bruises
real.
were just like popping out from everywhere. And I was just like, damn, girl, like, this is why I didn't become a wrestler.
Yeah, I just like
This
think
is it. It's right
she's
here.
she's 5 years older than me, and I'm just looking at this like, no way. five
Oh
years from
no, I
now,
wouldn't
no
be able to
way.
get up tomorrow. What are you, crazy? I would be like, I'm done for a month. Don't talk to me. I'm staying in bed forever. Goodbye.
Just like basically taking like Batman level punishment and like,
And then like
oh
the next day she's on like Canada's Got Talent and I'm like, dude, how'd you do that? Like,
yeah,
what
she's
do you
just like, oh, just another day.
mean? Like, okay, all right, that's cool, Trish.
We have a few questions to ask you. I want to make sure that we have enough time to get through all of them.
Okay.
There's like about a dozen, I think.
Okay.
I don't know. And correct me if I'm wrong. Do you want to give the name of the person who sent the question? There wasn't anybody who said that you shouldn't, right?
No, no, everyone
'Cause
was okay.
yeah,
So
I didn't see anybody say, don't say my name on the
no, I
show.
think it's fine.
So I will start, and you can take as long or as little time as you want to answer any of these questions. I believe you've seen most of them. There are a couple from a certain co-host that I maybe didn't share with you.
You
So
didn't.
we will mix these in. So the first question from Blake underscore Motley underscore 18 is, how have you been?
I've been really good actually. Thanks, Blake. A lot of exciting things happening. We have New York Comic Con coming up, which I just announced my lineup like
Mhm.
2 days ago. I think that was 2 days. I have no concept of time. Might have been yesterday.
This week
And
has been blurry. Yes.
it's just been a very blurry week, you know what I mean? But it's we're getting there. And I'm doing Harrison Dula, the newer version from Ahsoka on Friday, and Barbie on Saturday, and hosting a Barbie and Ken meetup because
Oh,
that's so much fun. Who
that
doesn't want
is
to go,
fun.
hi Barbie, hi Ken, hi Barbie, hi Ken, like for like 20 minutes, like, so life's been pretty good. I hope life is good to you, Blake underscore Motley.
Blake underscore Motley underscore 18. Thank you for your question. I hope that was a sufficient answer for Blake. We got there. We covered the subject. I think. There are a lot of Star Wars questions on here too, so I'll try to not group them together just to keep you a little off balance. But the so how did you come to love Star Wars? This is from the third man in line.
Okay, I really like the Instagram name, the third man in line, so that's kind of cool. So Star Wars was instilled into my bloodline from my parents. Mostly my mom is a huge Star Wars fan. Like, my mom saw Star Wars when it came out for the first time. I was not born or thought. Um, so I would say, how did I come to like it? I just kind of grew up like loving Star Wars and stuff. And then when I got into my teens, I was more into like the prequels and stuff because we all loved Anakin Skywalker. And then later on, I got into the animated TV shows, and honestly, Rebels like pretty much changed my life because I was
Ooh.
like, I love this show so much and I love these characters so much. And I've always like I'm very good at connecting with characters and stuff, but there was just something about Harrison Dula that just really brought me into it. And I kind of just it kind of revived my love for Star Wars, I want to say. And just kind of like there's just so many similarities and stuff. Plus, like I think I told you this last time, I really wanted to be a pilot. Didn't get to finish my pilot's license. Still hoping that it happens, but there's a lot of that in Star Wars, but pretty much just since I'm little, it's just kind of a family thing. It's always been like me and my mom went to like a Star Wars marathon when I was maybe 10, and I remember just sitting there like staring at Princess Leia like she's the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. But I hope that answers it. That's kind of just born into a Star Wars family.
That's how it happens.
Yeah.
I honestly I don't even remember how. I just remember that when the card game came out in 1995, like I had to buy it and then just
Yeah.
like play it constantly. I
That's
was
it.
a big Star Wars nerd. So the next question is from Hera the Pilot.
Ooh.
Ironically, that we have everything, we have all of the things in the name that we've been already talking about. But how do you feel when you put on your Hera cosplay?
Great question. I honestly, I tell everybody this that it's my favorite cosplay to cosplay. It's one of the hardest, if not the hardest cosplay that I have because the Leku is very heavy on my head and it's just a lot of paint. But one, I feel like I am doing a total transformation when I cosplay that, and it's very challenging, but it gives me that little bit of jolt to like, okay, get in the game. Like it's not like an easier cosplay like Barbie is for me and stuff. Like it's hard and it takes work and it takes hours. And at the end of it, when I'm like, wow, this is amazing. This is my favorite character, and she's a green alien, and and I look like that. It makes me so happy. It also just gives me like, it's so nice to just step into. I always say this about cosplay. I'm stepping into someone else's shoes, and this is such a, a, a character that I love so much that I get to just be that all day. So how do I feel? I would say the greatest that you could feel, pretty much. Don't get me wrong, like I definitely have a headache while this is all going on, and like
Oh yeah, that's
sometimes
most
is a
of the
little
people have.
painful with the contacts and stuff. Like it's a lot, but I would say like it's my favorite thing to do, and because I don't get to do it often because it's such a hard cosplay that I only wear it to like big events or to certain shoots, and because I know how much work it really is, but it's
Mhm.
totally worth it.
Wow. We have another one from Deep Fried Jedi.
Love that name. Love these names, guys.
That is kind of a fun name, Deep Fried Jedi. What would that be? You're a Deep Fried Jedi.
I think it's Skywalker.
You're not gonna end up in the Sarlacc pit if you're Deep Fried Jedi. I think that's something to know. But are you happy with live action Hera?
Oh, okay. I knew this was gonna happen, so I have paced myself for this answer. So I I love Mary Elizabeth Winstead. I think she's
Mhm.
amazing. I think she's a great actress. I For me, this is a tricky one. I have been pretty vocal about it, so this shouldn't come as such a surprise. That clearly was not my first pick for Hera. I really, truly, just like we have the live action Bo Katan, I really wanted to have the live action Hera played by her voice actress. Of course, I'm biased. Vanessa is one of my friends, but also, though, like sitting across from Vanessa Marshall having dinner where it sounds like Harrison Dula is talking to me the whole time. Like, you know what I mean? Like, she is Hera to me. Like, and she just embodies the character so much. I just don't understand how that happened. But I
Mhm.
also recognize that Mary Elizabeth Winstead is more of a seasoned live action actress and she is married to Ewan McGregor, and I'm sure all of that was taken into accountability. I do like her portrayal of Hera. I think she's great. I love the dynamic between her and Jason. I think that's what really pulls me in.
Mhm.
But I can't sit here and say that I don't wish every second of it wasn't played by Vanessa Marshall, but I do like what she's bringing to the table. And if I put my biases aside, I think she's doing a great job. And I hope that answers your question without sounding super biased or like one-way thinking. You know what I mean?
It's okay to be one way with Star Wars, I think.
Okay.
I think
I
that's
mean,
totally fine.
fandom is a lot, so
Switching fandoms for the next question.
nice. Okay.
This question comes from, I'm gonna butcher this name and I'm so sorry. I know it's this came through in a foreign language. Veterina Veterinario Satellite
Okay.
Veterinarian Satellite. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. My pronunciation. I should have done all of the
It's okay.
I should have phoneticized this as I was writing it, because I know how to do that. I used to, it was a part of my college credits. Um, will you wear your Wonder Woman cosplay again?
Of course, I will wear my Wonder Woman cosplay again. I actually am trying to pull together Wonder Woman from the Harley Quinn show because, again, voiced by Vanessa Marshall, trying to do as many of her cosplays as I can. And I love her version of Wonder Woman for that. It's also very close to Gal Gadot's version, but it's
Mhm.
more cartoony. So, but my whichever Wonder Woman costume, not really sure which one you're referring to, but both the Gal Gadot version and the classic Wonder Woman will definitely be worn again. It's one of my favorite cosplays, both
Oh.
of them.
Yeah, it is. I don't know if I've seen it that often, but when it does come out, it's very striking. Either version, it's very cool when you do decide that Wonder Woman is the character for
Yeah,
for the next cosplay to share.
the last time I wore Wonder Woman, I actually threw the first pitch for the Brooklyn Cyclones. So I always wear
Oh,
it when it's like a really cool event. So, but the Gal Gadot one, I was considering wearing it, but it's like, you ever see the movie Big Hero 6 when they stick Baymax in that robot outfit and then his whole body combusts? I was afraid that was going to happen like at the game. So I went with classic Wonder Woman, which was a hit. It was fine.
well, we're happy that you did not explode. That's fine. The next question comes from our co-host for the show.
Oh,
If
okay.
if you could meet any one of the actors from the characters you cosplay, who would it be?
Okay, so I met Vanessa Marshall, who would have been pretty much number one. Trish Stratus, obviously, we're doing it. I would. There's one person that I would like to meet that I feel like it's a very, very, very fat chance is Margot Robbie because my first
Oh,
cosplay
mhm.
ever was Harley Quinn. Big shocker. It's like kind of what gets everybody into the cosplay world. But I don't think I would have ever went to New York Comic Con or Comic Con in general if not for that cosplay. And I would just love to meet her and thank her too, because like also Barbie too. Barbie really hit me in the feels. um, so I just like to meet her and say thank you. I'm glad that she said though like characters that I cosplay because like the number one person that I want to meet, which is a super random and only a few people know, is Morgan Freeman. I love him.
Morgan Freeman.
I just want to sit down and have like lunch with Morgan Freeman. That's it. It's a life goal.
I would like to tell him how many times I've seen Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Okay. I mean,
Um,
I think that's a valid conversation. I think
I know. I think I could probably tell him like most of his lines. He has so many great one-liners in that too.
great. He's just so
He's
great.
well, all of his movies he does.
I just want him to
Shawshank
sit
Redemption.
across from me and narrate what I'm doing. Like that's all I really want.
Yes.
Samantha takes her fork and cuts her meat. Like I just please just do that for me, please. I love him so much. My friends are like, this is a little irrational. Like I have
Mm.
shirts with his face on it. Like I love Morgan Freeman. I don't cosplay more anything Morgan Freeman does, but I love him forever and hope one day that that is someone that I do get to meet besides Margot Robbie.
Amazing. Amazing. Yeah, and he's really cool. Margot Robbie is she's very
So cool.
nice with everybody. Like when she goes out and just meets and greets, like she's just
And I would like to
really
actually
bubbly
meet
and happy. And
Kristen Ritter in person too, because I did
oh,
meet her virtually through COVID, but I
yes, you
would
did.
like to meet her in person. I think that would be really cool.
The next question comes from the same person from our co-host Astro Void. How do you deal with absolute burnout, and what revives you and brings you inspiration again?
Okay, so for me with burnout, it happens quite a lot. I feel like over the past year, I've kind of just been sticking to cosplays that I really love and bring me comfort. I haven't really did anything that new, um, besides like all the Barbie stuff. But if you really think about it, I've been doing that since last year. So I would say, honestly, I really was having a hard time figuring out what I want to do for New York Comic Con because I had like zero inspiration. I knew that I was doing Hera one of the days and I know how much work it is. And I was like, I need to just get a little bit of jolt. And like I told you the other day, I took myself to the movies. I went and sat and saw Barbie again. And by the end of the movie, I was like, totally doing Barbie. Like I'm happy. I'm good. I just needed to watch this again. And like I need to find inspiration in things. And if I don't, then I revert to older stuff that I did that I know that will bring me joy. Um and honestly, if I'm so super burned out, I won't go. Like I will just take that time to give myself a mental break. Like I'm just like, this is too much. I can't do this because cons are a lot. Like I used to go to New York
Yeah.
Comic Con 4 days. I'm only going to this year because I know that I just can't handle the crowds, the parking. It's insanely expensive too. But it's just I can't deal with so much like personal space for 4 days. Like by the end of New York Comic Con, every year after going 4 days, by Sunday, I'm sick and I'm exhausted and I'm tired and I'm angry and I don't feel good. And I was like, I don't want to do that. I want to go. I want to have a great time. And then I want to come home and I want to go to bed. And then
Hmm.
do it again one more day and then be done with this. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's this is what happens when you're an older cosplayer and you're doing this a long time. You just kind of get to a point where you're like, okay, I'm not going to put my mental health through this. I'm not going to put my physical health through this either because people are touching you every 2 minutes. So you're going to get sick. So limit yourself and just take your time and figure out what you really want to do before you do it.
Yes, 2 days sounds like that sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
Being an even older cosplayer, that you want to do more, but then you're like, you get to Sunday, you're just like, no.
I mean, if this
That was
was
plenty.
Dragon Con, this would be a different conversation. Because Dragon Con, I could do 4 days because it feels like a vacation. It's warm.
Mhm.
It's like, it's very chill. This is like craziness. And they've made the Javits Center even bigger. So there's even more people. Like, I'm good. No thanks.
Well, that can bring us that can segue into our next question from Lumen Knight. Will you return for Dragon Con 2024?
Look at that. I'm trying my hardest. That is my favorite convention period of all time. To me, it's just like it's more of a vacation. Like I said, like it's not so crazy. There's no like there is a con floor, but no one, you really
You,
just
you
hang
don't
out all
really,
day
yeah.
outside and you just hang out and you meet. So, and I love one thing I will say is like I do love my local cosplay groups and stuff, but I love being somewhere where I get to see people that I haven't seen in so long. And it's just people from everywhere. And it's a different environment. It is completely different from New York Comic Con. So I'm going to try my hardest this year to make Dragon Con next year.
Hey, I don't know if I will or not. I'm just trying to get to New York Comic Con next year,
Which is
2030.
fine. Which is
So
fine.
I
And you
might do
should
one.
try it once, but then go back to Dragon Con.
So I'm gonna try and be a Ghostbuster and maybe a couple of other things, but we'll see.
We do it.
Lots of things could change between now and then. So that's the goal. That everything culminates with that. But oh, it'd be great to go to Dragon Con.
Yes.
It's so huge. It's just like a giant.
Just
It's like
like
a
a fun
festival for
like a
cosplay.
festival. It is. I tell people all the time, like it's not just cosplayers. The locals participate. They shut the
Mhm.
whole city down. It's just so much fun. Like you just get to hang out. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. We have one of my favorite people. This guy is always just he's so positive and he's very he's a very supportive of the show. I really appreciate this fellow, the amazing artistic Spidey.
Oh yeah, he's
He is
awesome.
he's just a really cool dude. What is your favorite superhero movie of 2023 so far, from greatest to least? Ready, set, go.
Okay, my favorite so far, 2023. I'm trying to even think what came out this year.
I will actually have to look. I'm not totally prepared for the question myself.
Yeah.
You like
What actually came out this year?
superhero
Because I'm mixing years up.
superhero movies 2023. Um, because I want to say that Spider like Blue Beetle would be one for sure.
Oh, Across the Spider-Verse, I'll probably
Across
put
the
it number
Spider-Verse,
one. That will
um,
probably be number one for me.
the sequel to Shazam came out,
I didn't
right?
see. I know
Fury
I'm a
God.
bad superhero. I did not see Shazam. I did not see The Flash. I did not see Blue Beetle yet. I've been slacking, especially with DC lately. I have to really just do it, and I have not. But as far as like Marvel
And
and stuff, what
did
else came out?
what about Quantum Mania? Ant-Man and the
I
Wasp. Quantum
I
Mania.
liked it, but I would put that pretty low,
Hmm.
as low as I could. But it wasn't terrible. But I would definitely say number one this year for me is Across the Spider Verse. Like,
And I
and I
think
really does Ninja Turtles count because they were it was so good,
I think it can. I think that can count as they're kind of superheroes. Guardians
right?
of the
Like,
Galaxy was probably another one, and the Flash that would have been. I think the Flash would probably be like if I had to like rank one the lowest, that would be the one that I would rank the lowest.
okay, I didn't
I
see
would be
the
like,
Flash.
Flash
Guardians.
was
Okay, so like I know everyone loved Guardians. I totally get it. I just the animal stuff it made me sick through the whole thing, and I wouldn't watch it again. It was better of the movies, but I can't place it right now because it makes me sad, and I don't want to think about Rocket being hurt ever again.
oh, yeah, and then yeah, Rotten Tomatoes says that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem was one of the best
It was great. It
of the
was such a great
year.
movie.
So, and yeah, I mean, I will, of things like of nerdy things that I do, like I will watch video game playthroughs, and I love watching all the old Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle games because it's so much nostalgia and they're so fun to play. It's fun to watch other people that are better at playing them play them too, and not just like get completely like hosed by bosses and things like that. Is and like I put so much of my parents' money went into
Yeah.
that as a kid, playing it at the arcades and stuff. But the movies were always cool. One of my favorite movies ever was the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie
Yeah,
from
of
the 90s.
course. Mm-hmm.
Despite all of its flaws and just like how just horribly produced it was, you don't see that when you're like in fourth grade. You don't even care. You're just
No,
like,
no
nah,
way.
turtles. And
Turtles.
I did see them at Disney World too. I had
Oh,
Michelangelo signed my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles hat
I
when
love
I went
this.
there as a kid. It was and I kept like I think I wore that hat and like halfway through high school. Like
You're like,
I
I
never
have
took it
your
off.
signature on my
Of
hat.
like Michelangelo, a yes, a man in a turtle suit signed Michelangelo's name on a hat of mine,
The
and
best
it felt
hat
pretty real. It was
ever.
like having Santa Claus sign your hat. It was
Amazing.
very cool. They were quite like there were camps back then. There was like a Michael Jackson camp, and then there was like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles camp where I went to elementary school, and I was like, no way does Moonwalker ever beat the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Like this was the
No,
thing. I'm like, hands down, it's great that you like Moonwalker, but no, like
no.
Turtles every single
Turtles.
time.
I like turtles.
I have a couple more questions for you.
Okay, give me them.
The next one comes from M. Marindel, and it
Okay.
is: would you cosplay as any other Rebels characters?
Wow, this is a really good question. No. I
No,
know. Well, okay. So maybe one day I will do Ahsoka. I feel like it's possible because she is another character that I love and I'm very passionate about. It's just really hard for me because Hera is my favorite. I love Sabine, but I just don't have a connection with her on that level to like really do that much work for cosplay. And I just like being Hera. You know what I mean? Like I like Hera Syndulla. Like if I feel like if I was to wear a different one, I'd be like, why am I in this? but but maybe one day Ahsoka, I would say. Not sure what version, but I do love Ahsoka too. So possibly. It's just a lot of work. And
Yeah, yeah. These it's not inexpensive, and it is a lot of production
lot of
to get all of
production.
the things
So
painted
many
and
things.
shaped, and it's yeah, and then putting it all on every time too, and then hoping that no one like bumps into it the wrong way when you're out and
Yeah.
about. as expensive as they do get. Um, yes. Yeah. So there's one final question.
Okay.
We're gonna start and finish with the same person. So
Okay.
our guy Blake from the beginning of the question sent another question in.
Blake Motley. Blake underscore
Blake
Motley.
underscore Motley underscore 18.
18. Yep.
Um,
Okay.
the other 17 Blake Motleys did not provide us with any questions. So thank you, Blake,
Thanks, Blake.
for giving us two here. And this is a fun one. So he just says, do you have, and I know the answer, but do you have any fur babies?
I do. I went to go look for him, but he's not here. I actually have. So my mom stole my cat. Let's talk about that first. So through COVID, I got a cat. I was living with my parents, and I got a cat, Leia, which you have seen a million times.
Mm-hmm.
I posted her on my story. She's a little tiny bean, and I also had my other cat, Chase, who lives with my parents. And when I was moving out, we decided we were gonna get another cat because I need some kind of therapy animal. And we got Kenobi, who, of course, I get the cat because I have anxiety, and I get a cat with anxiety. So like that's the way that works. But I would say yes, I have Leia, Chase, and Kenobi still. They're still all my cats. My mom just wouldn't let me take Leia because she was way too acclimated to our house.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I have three of them. I work in a different borough, so I go back and forth to my parents a lot. So Kenobi gets along with the other two cats, and everybody lives in harmony. Sometimes he's at the
That's
apartment.
always good.
Yeah.
When you take the cats to meet the other cats. I guess it doesn't happen too much anymore because I don't have cats right now. But
Yep.
There's Peanut now with my
Oh,
mom.
Peanut.
Peanut, and I don't know actually how she gets along with my sister's cats. I've heard nothing bad. The last cat, Blempy, he was very territorial and he did not get along with any of the other cats. He had to keep them
Sometimes,
all
yeah, it's
separate.
tough.
And he would like we call him Blempy because of his size and shape. He was kind of like a big blimp.
I love that.
Kind of just rolled around, and he had all these little routines and things that he would do. Like he would greet you by rolling around. Like he wouldn't like come up to you like a cat and like rub up against you or anything. Like he was a couple of cards short of a full deck, so he would do things in his own way. And
Was he orange?
he was very orange. Yes.
Okay, then
He was
that makes
orange.
sense because
liked
Kenobi is very orange.
he loved rubber bands, and he lived to be 19, so he was up there.
Wow,
He
that
was,
makes me really happy.
and he was pretty much the same cat the whole time. He never
I
lost his
lost
thing.
one of my cats through COVID, and I
Mm.
had him. I think I told you this though. I had him for 22 years.
20.
I had him since I was 8 years old, and he was already like almost 2 when we got him. So he was 24 when he died. His name
Wow.
was Luke. Enter Leia. A lot of Star Wars in this house. um, but I was devastated because he was my childhood cat. But he lived so long, so I have hope for all my other cats. They live just as long because I can't handle it.
Yeah, I mean that's like they're like horses live about 25 years. That's long. That's a long time.
It's a really long time. My vet was like, "This is the oldest cat that I've ever had come here." So
Wow.
but yes, fur babies. I feel like you have to have
Mhm.
you gotta have some kind of fur in your life somewhere. Cat hair on your clothes, dog hair on your clothes. That's it.
Yeah, I mean it does feel weird. Like they take up a lot of space too. When you don't have one, you definitely notice the difference, and it is an adjustment to go to back to life before you decided that you needed to have fur babies.
Absolutely. Yeah, they help too. Like they are like therapy animals. I did want to bring up though, you did start this about validation, and I feel like I didn't fully answer that. So I will say though, to answer this so that you do get this answer in there. I feel like cosplayers in general are seeking some kind of validation, whether it's likes or acknowledgement or, and I think that it's good because it's healthy to like do something and people go, wow, that was amazing. Like, and you come on Instagram so you can get that little bit of a wow factor of like, wow, this is amazing. Like, you blew me away. You did a great cosplay. Like, that's all normal. But I do feel like it does get taken out of the normalness when it becomes delusion and it becomes more, like you said, more of a validation point and more of either a clout chasing type of point or just trying to build connections that are not real so you can gain more popularity. So that was my answer. And I should have said that, but we veered into a whole bunch of different things in Star Wars.
Which is totally fine. That's we like to it's a more of a roller coaster ride this season, and I've been enjoying it. I really enjoyed going through all the questions, and thank you so much to everybody who participated and decided that they would play along with us today and let us share all of their questions for Sam on the show. Yes, validation. If anybody wants to watch the full episode of me just talking about this, it will be out, and I can point to it again. But yeah, it really is. It's a deep subject. I don't want to spend too much more time today going through all the things, because we've covered so much ground already, and that goes back to the burnout, because
Yeah.
everybody has so many things going on. But the way that people are about all of these things, like how absorbed we've become by social media in the last 3 years,
How
that
immersed people have gotten
just
to this. This
we're
is
so stuck in it, and it's like it carries so much value with everything you do. Everything is some kind of a metric that happens inside of social media, and if it's like if you're not there, then you don't exist. And even like messaging people back, some of the people that I follow on YouTube, like Simon Sinek and a few of the other talking heads in that space, they akin it to like customer service that you just can't get rid of, where you're talking to people, and it's like if you don't respond back within a few minutes, it's like you died or something. It's like you're unalive, because the you need that like instant connection with
gratification.
everything,
Yeah.
the gratification. So if you don't get that dopamine hit right away, like you asked a question and just went into oblivion and nobody gets back to you, it's like, what happened to them? And like, wait, no, I didn't get an immediate response, or that I feel bad because I don't respond back to people in like
Yeah.
8 seconds. Like I'm at work and it's like boop, boop, and it's like, well, okay, so are they going to be all upset with me and unfriend me now because I'm like in the middle, and I'm not telling you right away, like, hey, I can get back to you in a little bit. But it's weird that this is how
It is
we've
weird.
evolved.
Absolutely. I understand it. It is very much that's what everybody wants. They want instant gratification. And I feel like as far as like the algorithm and stuff, sure, like we can all play that into it as well. But like even just look at the culture around us now and look at how different Instagram is, where it's just reels, reels, reels. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
even kidding. Like I signed up for this thing on Instagram for someone to call me and walk me through how to do reels, because I don't know, like if I'm successfully doing this, like what am I supposed to do? This was a photo app that like I've conquered. It was great. It was awesome. And then all of a sudden I'm losing followers. I'm losing it. So I did. And they called me, and every month they send me a thing on what I should do for reels. And I gotta be honest, I haven't listened to any of them because I don't have time to do this. You know what I mean? Like I read it, it's great, great information, but am I really going to put 3 to 4 hours into reels? I just don't have time. And I still personally like photo shoots better. Like Jason is a photographer. It's time for us to bond. I love location shoots. I love real world stuff. I love things going, oh wow, I could have killed myself. Why did I do that? I like doing stuff like that. I don't want to sit in front of a ring light and do this all day. I just don't want to do it. So like, but that's the culture. Like today I was at the gym and there was a girl next to me fully dressed doing TikTok dances in the
Wow.
room where I call the quiet room, which is not quiet today. And I was just like, wow, this is amazing. Like I can never do this. I can never walk into this place like that and do this, but this is it. She wants likes, she wants validation, she wants, and everyone in the gym is looking at her like, that's cool. Like, you know what I mean? It's weird. It's weird. I don't know. Feels like we're all in a Black Mirror episode. It's weird.
It is. I feel more like the truck driver every day. Yeah.
Yeah.
That I'm just like, oh no, I lost people. Oh, I'm negative.
Oh
Oh
no.
no. I
Yikes.
call it I say like basically I'm rolling 2 6-sided dice and I'm getting a number less than 2 every time. And I'm like, oh, that's too bad. It's just yeah, it's weird. It's strange. And I guess that's kind of why it became a topic this season, because It's just
Yeah.
all the strange things that happen in like all the cosplay, just the strangeness and how it's evolved. And even going back, I keep this book on my desk because it covers the subject. And I do, Andrew's a great guy, and I do plug his book from time to time just because it's very unique and it goes through like hundreds of years of cosplay.
Wow. I love it.
But
I've never knew about this.
yeah, would you like a copy? I can send you one.
Yes, I definitely would.
Okay, yeah. We can do that. Um, that we have, like, there's a whole section on social media in the book, that just talks about, very interestingly, how society has really like evolved with this. Like we've been
Yeah.
dressing up a long time. We've been going to
Hmm.
masquerades forever, and it's almost like it's part of us to need to kind of do this as not just kids but as adults to some extent. That we still need to have some imagination,
Yeah.
but that it's more about socializing, and socializing has really changed. And I don't know if we've really like adapted to it. I would say maybe not, because of the way that we are with it. Like we're very in our, like, everywhere. It's just all the time.
Everywhere.
And
Yeah.
even now, like, we're making content. So it's like the
We
only
I
time
mean
I
we
ever
are.
talk to anybody.
We are we do but at least we talk to each other. That's what I do like about podcasts. And as much as like you're staring into something, you're talking, you're not doing this all day long. Like
Yeah,
it's
I haven't
just
even really, like, I know I've got something on here, but
like
I'm like,
I'm
oh.
thankful for like the time I have at work because like I teach special needs pre-K and like
Mhm.
I'm not allowed to be on my phone unless I'm on lunch, and like that it gives me such clarity. Like even though I'm dealing with chaos in classroom, it's still I'm not worried about things. And like I've just gotten to this point and I've spoken to Astra about all of this too. Like I just post whatever I want. Like I don't expect likes. I don't expect a number anymore. I expect to lose followers and stay at 45.1K forever. I don't care. Like I'm not growing. I don't care. But at the end of the day, if I'm posting and I'm like, damn, that looks good. Like I'm happy. Then that's it. That's all I care about. Like, and sometimes it does really well and sometimes it sucks and it can be the algorithm or people just don't like my stuff and it is what it is. Like it's not going to change anything that's going on within my day. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And that's a really good space to be in. That sounds healthy, actually. That
It,
sounds
it
like
took it took a lot
I
because
do it for me. I do it for me. And if you
I,
like it,
I
great. If you don't, scroll past, like it's no
yeah,
big deal.
I've
Yeah.
I've always been like this, and it's so funny that we're talking about this because recently like I connected with a lot of Hera cosplayers. And like in the Star Wars community and a lot in the cosplay community, let's be honest, there's a lot of competition with each other where people just are like, well, I'm the best, whatever. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? And like I hate it because I love Hera and I want everyone to love Hera and everyone should love Hera because I love Hera. So like meeting people that have the same interests and can have conversations about things that you like that's so important. And like I did go to a Hera meetup at Star Wars Celebration last year, and it was a horrible experience. They would not talk to me. One girl asked me if I made everything myself, and when I said no, she literally pivoted and walked away from me in the conversation.
Whoa.
I had another girl who was like, "Are you approved with the Rebel Legion?" And I was like, "No." And she was like, "Oh," and literally just like dipped. And then like no one spoke to me. They kept looking at me. They want to know, rip me apart, and want to know what's real, what's this, what's that. Is this real leather? Is that? And I was like, I'm not with this. They weren't nice. Liza was with me, and it felt like being dropped off at school because she came for moral support by your parent, and then everyone's mean to you in school and you just want to go home. And I just walked up to her and I was like, I want to leave. And she was like, okay, let's go. And she was like, what's wrong with these people? And
Wow.
I've connected with so many of them on the internet that have become such close friends of mine. Like honorable mentions here, like Ray Kennex helped me put my hair together.
Mhm.
Jay Snips Cosplay, also another special needs teacher. Like, but so many amazing women that like make up this community that I'm so glad I met through Instagram. You know what I mean? And I feel like those are so much more important connections to make than someone with numbers or someone, or you're looking at someone's, well, what can they do for me? Like these people fulfill me. They're great. This is
Mhm.
enough for me. You know what I mean? Again, that's cosplaying for you. And that should always be number one. but I'm not soapboxing it today. I can't do it.
That is going to be a topic coming out later. Still plenty of time left in the season, friends. I am so happy that everybody came to enjoy this episode. And Sam, thank you so much for being here one more time. It's great to have you on the show.
I'll be back.
Yeah, well, we sure hope so. Come back anytime, this season or next. It's fine. I don't necessarily plan out all the content right away, folks, but the really it's scheduling, and people get pretty busy, and we will always have more to talk about. I am sure we will. Definitely. Of course. Alrighty, folks. And the usual plugs, if you don't mind. Where can we find you, and how can we support you online, Sam?
So I am Sam Syndulla. Everywhere. I'm on TikTok, Twitter. I don't really use TikTok that much, but it's there. Instagram. I don't know what else. Is there another thing that I'm forgetting?
Is there well, I guess like
YouTube. I have a little.
There's a little bit of YouTube.
And that's pretty much it. But it's Sam Syndulla everywhere. Just look up Sam Syndulla, and if I have an account there, it'll come up.
There you have it. And we'll have the link in the show notes below in the descriptions on the YouTubes. Friends, thank you so much. Sam, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
This is Scotty B for Heroes of Cosplay Sanctuary saying bye-bye, everybody.